Nilienda banki nyingi nikaambiwa siwezi nikapewa loan kwa vile sikuwa na kile walikuwa wanataka. Lakini wakati nilienda Caritas waliniitisha tu shares yangu na nikawaambia niko na pahali ningetaka kujenga. Wakaniambia nilete hiyo title deed. Sasa nikasema asante sana kwa Mungu, wale walifikiria kuungana Caritas, wale walifikiria kuunda Caritas wanasaidia wale hawajiwezi.
Wangu ingawa mimi ndio mkubwa kwenye familia, sikuwa na uwezo. Lakini mama alipoingia nayo Caritas ikakubali, nikashukuru. Na kusema kweli Caritas wametutoa mbali.
Good morning and welcome to Capuchin TV. Today being Tuesday, 26th January, the year 2021. And you know the good thing about, this day or even this week, it's that it's not even too late for you to make a new year resolution. And the bad thing is that you still have bills to pay. You still have to pay school fees for your kids, for your sons and daughters. And also you want to expand your business or maybe to start a new business. Well, worry not, because Caritas Microfinance Bank have you sorted out, because they have, different ways to let you know how to solve your problems when it comes to finances. And today in the studio, I'm glad to be joined by one of the guests from Caritas Microfinance Bank, Mr. Dennis Ochengea, who is a business development manager, and he will be taking us through our topic today, that is financing small businesses for those ones who want to start a business. And good morning, welcome. And before we even go to him, I want to say thank you to Arbe Bonaya, who stood in for me last week but one on the Caritas Microfinance Bank program. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Hi, good morning, Mr. Dennis.
Good morning.
Good to see you again.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, yes. How are you doing?
I'm well.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, you're ready for the topic, of course.
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah. And if you want to keep on with the discussion, our number is 0717 424 866, and even you can send us an SMS, that is 21760. Good morning, and I'll come to this discussion. Hi, maybe you can take us through what small business are.
Thanks, Maureen. Small businesses are defined by around two parameters. Number one is the number of employees, and number two is the turnover, how much you are able to sell probably per month or per year. But generally, it is understood that any business where sales are less than 50 million per annum, those are considered small businesses. Or where businesses which have less than 15 employees, if we may say so, those are small businesses. Typically, small businesses are owned by, they are sole proprietorship, that's owned by one individual. Others are in form of partnership, and that's 2 to 3 people coming together and agreeing to do the business. And so the real focus is on people are trying to start it small as they try to grow their businesses organically. So, and statistically, especially in Kenya, close to 8% of our economy is driven by those small businesses. So that's typically what is known as the mama mbogas, if I may use that language. Yes. And for that person who wants to start a small business, what do you need to have, or what take do you need to go for the way? If you want to do small business, there are a number of things you must put in place. I think one, you must identify which sort of business you want to do. So that basically means you have to look at where maybe you are passionate about, get to do some market research on which is the most profitable, probably business, but also whether which segment of the market you want to serve. So there's a bit of market research which must be undertaken to select the kind of business you have to do. But with it, you structure your thoughts with what we generally term as a business plan. That you identify the market you want to be in, you identify the customers you want to serve, you identify the products to which you want to serve them with. You look at where you source the product from, whether it's locally, from where you source the pricing, the dynamics around it, who will be your suppliers, among other stuff. You also get to decide on how you will market your product. So you get to decide, will you be, if it's a shop, will you be opening from what time? How will you do the sales? How will you advertise? How will you make sure that your business is known? How will you market it? How will you display? All those other aspects. And also you have to agree on what's your pricing strategy. Basically, it means, are you pricing based on what the competitors are doing? If it's a niche market, then you have to decide how do you make sure that you are able to price for some of those services. Then, of course, you have your targets in terms of what is your profit margin. I think profit margin is just the difference between the selling price and the buying price. So you see what's the margin you want to put to set. So all of those things are, when all of those things are thought of and structured, they become a business plan. So you have identified the business, you have done your business plan. The other bit is execution. So you know how do you resource in terms of either if it is stock, how do you purchase, and whether you have the finances, whether it is the staff you need to employ to manage your business. So execution is about all of those things you thought in a business plan. How do you make sure that they are executed? So that's the brief about maybe what are the preliminaries in doing small businesses. But for those who are they are thinking of scaling. So because if you're already in one business, then you think of how do I scale my business? So you are looking at which product is performing better than the other, if you are selling products, or which service is performing better than the other, then you get to allocate more resources in that respect. You get to see how do you reach out more customers in terms of either your sales and marketing plan and strategy. Then you get to talk how do you ring fence, because at times you may realize there is need to a bit protect your market. How do you make sure that is done? Are there products you want to discontinue? If are there either others who you do, maybe you add more of them. So those are some of the aspects and parameters. And especially with the situation we are in, the one of COVID, people have reorganized their businesses. So currently there's a lot of online sales, online marketing, so digital marketing, among other aspects. So that basically means also as you do your business, your strategy is likely to evolve, or your business plan is likely to be reviewed and evolve to suit the circumstances.
Thank you so much for that. Talking after you have identified the business plan and the location, it's still young.
Yes.
Because we are in January. Where can you get your financing when you want to open a small business? Where do you have to get your financing for the small business that you want to start up?
So for those who would wish to start small businesses, one, you have to look at how much you have saved, because basically means from the time you think of starting a small business or a business of whatever form, you must think of also how do you finance it. So I think one of the parameters is people do make sure that they use their own savings to start those businesses. So you may have been accumulating some savings over a period of time. There are also those who may reach out to friends and family and say, okay, I think maybe I have this idea, this is what it entails, this is how it will make money, all those other stuff. Then they reach out to their friends and they convince their family and others to assist them, give them some resources to start the business. But also, Kenyans by their nature, they are in a number of chamas or circles. So. And I think ladies are very good in this. So
you're good in saving.
So I think they also do borrow from those chamas, from those circles and others. So it's also one of the avenues where people can get some money for starting maybe some of the businesses. But also, if those options maybe are not available to you, at times you can reach out also to financial institutions. That basically banks, microfinance banks, circles, and other stuff.
Caritas Microfinance Bank.
Yes. So then you can reach to a bank right now, Caritas Microfinance Bank, say, I want to do this business. This is what it entails. This is my plan. This is how I will make money. This is my own contribution in this business. I've done either my market research, I've understood, I have the skills, the necessary resources. And so when those things are evaluated, then they see how much you can qualify, then you also get financing. So financial institutions, and in this case, I representing Caritas Microfinance Bank is one of the options which is available for customers who may want to look for funding sources. But also there are other options where people say, okay, is it possible to, if the business is so viable, but maybe nobody is trusting you, whether you can convince other people to come in as equity investors. So they pump in, they take a small stake in the business or a big stake, and then you get to agree. So all of those are options which are available to people. But for banking purposes, I think there is a bit of preparation which is needed to make sure that you qualify for bank financing. And one of the reasons why we attend platforms such as this is also to create the awareness and channel financial education of what are the options for customers, what are the options for business owners around how they access financing.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. And when it comes, to starting a small business, or even if you want to enlarge your business to become big, I believe every big business was once small.
Yeah, that's true.
And talking, one might face, maybe even of you who is watching us, you want to start a small business. Does it have challenges, and maybe what are some of the challenges the small businesses do have?
So as we have put it, there are always be challenges. I think entrepreneurs and business owners know from the word go that there shall be challenges along the way. What matters most is how you adjust and adapt. So there are the typical challenges, of course, from trying to understand the market. At times maybe you have, if you are selling goods and services, you thought this is selling, only to realize it's not selling. Maybe you underestimated competition. You thought maybe it's not as stiff. Then you come to the market, you realize the competition is very stiff. So at macro level, there is also macroeconomic factors which may be affecting you. So currently, for example, you have seen over the last few days, the Kenya shilling has been weakening against the dollar. So also, if you never prepared for some of those market dynamics, like foreign exchange, if you are importing some of them, so you are likely to face challenges. So there are a number of challenges, but also others have to do with maybe some businesses are not very well formalized. So, and with it, then you realize you will face a bit of challenges when it comes to access to financing, because people want to know how structured, how formal is your business, because especially if you are dealing with other parties, they really want to know how is your business very well structured. Then there is, of course, as you do the business, you realize how important records are, and people face challenges with record keeping. There is this typical saying where, especially people say, okay, I'm not good in maths, but as long as you want to do business, you must be good with numbers. It's not maths, because you're talking about money. So those aspects of have to get prepared to keep your records. You get to know whether you are, record of purchases, what is your record of sales, what's your profit margin, who is owing you what, how much do you owe to some people. All those critical records, you have to make sure that they are kept. We have also seen cases where people are not able to separate themselves from the business, which is also a typical challenge with business owners, because at times people do not put the clear demarcation between the business and themselves. So you realize at times they're spending money for the business, for their personal use. Even when they employ, they are not employing based on maybe professional skills, whether they are employing based on sympathy. Maybe they think I need to create employment to one of my family members, but that is not what the business needs. Maybe the business needs something else. And with it also at times comes with a challenge of success and management, because you may realize people are over-invested in the business to an extent they forget what happens if they exceed the stage. So you realize either those who are able to take over just in the event of maybe one or two challenges, people can become sick, people die, among many others. So the business continuity also gets affected. But also, small businesses face challenges of access to capital, because you realize there are challenges of,
It's just like any other business, when you need to access, to even enlarge your business, capital, it's one of the most thing that, affects many of the people or even the business, partners or any other person.
So a bit of preparation in between comes in. And with also many other dynamics, because even when they want to, they are ready to raise capital either through bank loans. Others, you realize they do not have enough security for some of the facilities. So they are, as long as you are getting into business or as long as you are in business, you must get prepared that there shall be challenges along the way. So your strategy or your business plan must be designed in a way to address some of those challenges you are likely to face, because in them they present also risks which those businesses face. But I think the earliest sense is to be aware and be. Yes.
And I believe every something that has to do with challenges, problem, or even a problem, it has a solution.
Yeah, there are always solutions.
And we're going to take a very short break. We will be back with the topic of financing small business. So stay tuned, don't go far.
Caritas Microfinance Bank imejitolea muhanga kwa kuwawezesha Wakenya kupata fedha kwa urahisi ili kujenga rasilimali na kujiendeleza. Maisha ya jamii yamebadilika na kuimarika. Msingi wa jamii ni utulivu wa familia iliyoimarika. Ukiwa na mradi unayohitaji kuimarishwa, tuna utu. Karibu uzungumze nasi. Caritas Microfinance Bank.
Imarika, imarika we. Caritas.
Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy. Hail our life and sweetness and our hope. To you do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To you do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, your eyes of mercy toward us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of your womb, Jesus, O merciful, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary. Amen.
To get Hail Holy Queen as your Skiza tune, send Skiza followed by code 738-10258 and send it to 811.
the last 1 year and a half, it has been amazing with Caritas that it has given me ground to redefine my dreams and to redefine my goals in life, what I need to do, the project I need to undertake, and how they can partner with me to realize that dream.
Good morning and welcome back to this discussion with the Caritas Microfinance Bank, and it happens every Tuesday from 10:30 a.m. and we have a very wide topic to talk about when it comes to finances, dealing with your problems, and also even how you can find a solution to it. And before we had gone for the break, we were talking about challenges that happens or even affects the small business when it comes to financing. And in studio we have a guest from Caritas Microfinance Bank, Mr. Dennis Ochenge, who is a business development manager, and he will be taking us through. Welcome back, Mr. Dennis.
Thank you.
Okay, before we had gone for the break, we were talking about challenges that affect the small businesses when it comes to financing, and we said that every problem has its solution. What are they? Can you overcome these challenges?
Maybe if I may pick one of the challenges which face small businesses, that has to do with access to capital. And now maybe specifically try to mention issues to do with maybe what sort of preparation does the customer need to have to overcome such a challenge. If you have a business and you want to expand, and part of your challenge is maybe you don't have enough to access capital to expand or to buy an asset and other stuff, it basically means you must get prepared. You do a bit of preparation. It's the same way you sell yourself to another audience. And then you have to, in one way or another, prepare, say, what business you are in. You have to be very clear, because you will be convincing somebody to invest money into your business. Even when you apply for a bank loan, you are convincing the bank to invest money into your business. So you must really understand your business plan, which products you sell, at what prices you sell them, all those aspects. So, how do you distribute some of those products? How do you mitigate some of the risks which are in the market? Is your business so much focused on only one supplier or one buyer, and all those other aspects? So understanding your business plan now, or trying to put up one for purposes of convincing those who may want to invest in your business. It does not matter who, but you must convince people to put money into your business. Then the other bit is when we talk of access to capital, people also have to be very clear of why are you borrowing, and as an example, or why should we invest in your business, for what purpose. So you must be very clear on what is the purpose for the maybe the money you are asking for. Is it for working capital? Is it for purchase of assets? Is it for expansion and others? And also be ready to explain yourself properly in terms of why. Maybe why have you decided to expand rather than put the money elsewhere? So, because whatever decision you do, it is assumed you must have done a bit of your cost-benefit analysis, so that the resources you are looking for, they are put into optimal use. They are put into where they are running you the greatest return. But also you must be able to prepare for what we call, you must track the money. You must be able to demonstrate that indeed you are able to make sure that you are able to track the money which is coming in and which is coming out. It's commonly known as cash flows, because small businesses are known not to keep very good records, which they must keep, but you cannot afford not to keep track of your cash flows. Otherwise, you cannot say I have sold, but without saying how much you have sold, who you have sold to, at what margins, at what prices, and those other stuff. But other challenges which have to do with, is to comply. For example, if you want your business to succeed, make sure that you have the necessary licenses, necessary permits, because the risks which are associated with not having some of those things is very high. If you know that for sure you want to move from one step to another and scale your business, formalize it. Make sure it is properly registered, it has its own bank accounts, because it really allows the business to expand and to grow. But also if there are other aspects where you think you need to prepare other people to take over the business because of one or two things, or you need to make sure that you professionalize, so employ people with the right skills, with the right competencies to run your business, among others. So those challenges are addressed by putting proper structures and infrastructure. So, and whenever we talk of structures, is trying to define each and everything on where it belongs and how it relates to the other bit, but also making sure that you are also able to give it the sufficient resources for the business to run. But when from a bank, from a financing bit, so the greatest challenge is how the businesses are able to access capital. And I think it actually prepares that how do you plan to sell your business for potential investors. So, and even for those customers we appraise, we tell them, because in banking now, when you say you prepare for financing, so the banking side is they do appraisal. So they are appraising your loan. They are saying, what is the purpose for the loan? Because now you need to think like maybe the way a financial institution thinks. What is the purpose for the loan? What are the documents which are likely to support the borrowing? Are they convincing enough? Which business are you in? What are your sales turnovers? Do you have bank statements? Do you keep all those things? Because when we talk about appraisal, is trying to look whether do you have ability to pay their loan, which is basically an element to do with the cash flows. So just as you prepare to sell, the other side is also willing to review whether what you are saying with generally makes sense. And I think so there is a bit of preparation from one side, and also you get prepared for review from the other side, because whatever proclamation you make, if you say my business is profitable, it's you. As a financier or as a person who is funding the business, I say, can you demonstrate that indeed it's profitable? So you tell me, okay, these are my sales for this month, for this year, or for last year and this year. And the sales are documented and also can be tracked. So you can say, these sales pass through either bank account or whatever I put, I reinvested in the business. But you cannot make a statement without technically substantiating it. So, and I think that is the preparation most customers need. That when you go to a bank and say, I'm in this business, it is expected that you must prove you must evidence that indeed. If you say I sell clothes, it is expected you must, in one or another, say, can you give evidence that you sell? Can you give evidence that the business is yours? You own the business. Can you give evidence that in the event you are not there, that you have put enough structures in place for the business to continue? Do you understand the market you are in? Those are some of the aspects. So challenges, and also I've hinted on some of the ways to make sure that those challenges are overcome. Yes.
And when it comes to small businesses, especially when it comes to financing, what are the requirements for borrowing customers?
So customers who want to borrow basically have to get prepared to, one, explain the purpose for the loan. So that's one. And two, they must produce documents that indeed to identify themselves and also identify the business. So when we talk of identifying, that's like you are the director of the business, so your ID and KRA pin, passport size photographs. Then if it's the business, then we have the registration documents. Either if the business is sole proprietorship and registered under the business name, so you produce certificate of registration. If it's a company, certificate of incorporation. If it's a partnership deed, and whichever other form which is there. So, and also you produce the relevant government documents. So if the business is operating, it's assumed you are operating within a proper legal environment, so you have to produce the business permits, which are issued either by the county government, others by the national government. So if there are necessary licenses to do certain businesses, for example, if you are selling milk, then you are expected the Dairy Board of Kenya, maybe you have the necessary licenses. Some export business require you to be also licensed. So those necessary licenses, you must come with them. Then you have to evidence that indeed this business has been transacting. So you will be asked of where are your bank statement to evidence the cash flows, because finally, whatever facility you will be given will be paid through cash, so which is generated out of profits. So you must produce then either the bank statements. I mean, most financial institutions require 6 months. That's reasonable. But currently, we know also a number of our businesses also use M-Pesa. So M-Pesa statements also come in handy to make sure that they are able to support some of the borrowing. You are expected to have kept good records. And those good records is just to also explain the totality of the business. So you may be asked to produce management accounts, which simply say, this is my revenue, this is maybe my this revenue I generated from maybe after making some of these sales. These are some of my expenses, and then on a month to month, maybe I make a profit of this or a loss of this. So if it's loss making, you have to really justify why people have to finance a loss making business. So those management accounts, at times you may be required to produce audited accounts, depending on maybe how much you are looking to borrow. And finally, you may be asked to produce oral evidence that you have a security in the event, and maybe the loan needs to be secured, or what options you have in the event you are not able to sort of repay the loan. So those are the simple general requirements of when you want to, maybe look for financing. But also it's good to say, whenever you are looking for financing, the first question people will ask, how much have you invested in that business? So from the word go, you have to say that in this business I've invested this much, because people cannot generally invest in a business which you have not put your resources there. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe for that one viewer who is watching us and would love to have a small business, what advice would you give them?
First and foremost is to tell them prepare. If you are not in one, if you don't have one, so you have to do a bit of thorough research into what kind of business you want to invest in. Get to fully understand, take your time, understand the market dynamics, understand the nature of the customers you'll be targeting, understand the pricing, understand where you source the products from. Because at times it's very easy to assume that because you see people selling some products, they are readily available, them you may realize there are challenges in sourcing them. Understand also the government regulations around it, because at times we underestimate the impact of government policies in certain businesses. Some businesses are more attractive, some businesses are not. So those things must be well understood. But if you are also seeking financing, also just prepare. Say, let me open an account. I need to have these documents, maybe for this business, explaining who I am, what purpose I'm looking for, and also what is my plan to pay the facility. Yeah. So, but it is very good, because not all of us will get employed. Even those who are employed, they are looking for
other things to do.
And I think it has been proven globally that you are always better as a country trying to make sure that we promote businesses, because we are likely to employ more people, generate more wealth, and also do many more others. Because at times it's not possible for the current economy to absorb as many if we compared to if we were doing some business. Yes.
Okay, because the time is up, I'm sure you have the contacts to share with our viewer. Maybe they can contact you. It's the time you do that.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen. I think our contacts for Caritas Microfinance Bank is 020-515-500. I think, and for the mobile is 0729-986-331. So also customers can get more information by checking on our website, which is www.caritas-mfb.co.ke. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis, for making time for Capuchin TV, and also for sharing to our viewer on the financing when it comes to small businesses.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you too for watching Capuchin TV and for making time for this discussion. My name is Maureen Kimani. See you next time.
nikaambiwa siwezi nikapewa loan kwa vile sikuwa na kile walikuwa wanataka. Lakini wakati nilienda Caritas waliniitisha tu shares yangu na nikawaambia niko na pahali ningetaka kujenga, wakaniambia nilete hiyo title deed. Sasa nikasema asante sana kwa Mungu, wale walifikiria kuungana Caritas, wale walifikiria kuunda Caritas wanasaidia wale hawajiwezi.
Wangu ingawa mimi ndio mkubwa kwenye familia, sikuwa na uwezo, lakini mama alipoingia nayo Caritas ikakubali, nikashukuru na kusema kweli Caritas wametutoa mbali.